The brand may not like what I have to say in this video, but it has to be said. So it's like, it can be done, why aren't you doing it? Today we're gonna be talking about a new version of one of the drugstore's most popular products. This is the new Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It's actually called the Matte Monoi Butter Bronzer. This is the first in a new butter collection coming from the brand this year, and some might say it's a new and improved reformulation of the original. So in this video, I'm gonna try it out. I'll let you know whether it's worth picking up, especially if you already love the original. We'll talk about the differences between the two, as well as what I think they did very, very wrong with this new one. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. So let's get straight into the comparison between the original butter bronzer and the new Matte Monoi Butter Bronzer. So starting off with the original, this is the one we all know and love. It's sold for $15.99 at Ulta. You can get it a little cheaper at Target. It's made with muru muru butter, kupwaku butter, and tukuma butter for a really silky feeling. It looks really smooth on the skin and blends out seamlessly. Now, the new Matte Monoi Bronzer has all of those same butters plus the Tahitian Monoi butter to really enhance that soft feeling. Now, the main difference in the two and what might sway you to actually try the new bronzer is that the Matte Monoi one, as the name suggests, is supposed to be more of a matte finish. The original one is said to have a sheen to it, and yes, I can see it if I'm swatching it heavily on my arm, but when I layer the original on top of my makeup and with my blush and highlight, etc., I don't really notice the sheen all that much. Another huge difference between the two formulas, and something that might have made me switch over to the new formula just on its own, is that the Matte Monoi bronzer is water resistant. Now, before I go ahead and put on this Matte Monoi bronzer, I need to point out the biggest flaw that I see in this launch. It's only available in two individual shades. One is called Bronzer and one is called Sunkissed. Now, when you look at this product on the Ulta website, it looks like Sunkissed is the deeper of the two, and that is the shade that I have. But looking at it in person, it's still pretty light and also pretty warm. I recently watched Allie Glein's video about this product. She had the other shade, and honestly, it didn't really look all that much different. It just had less of a red undertone to it. So let me go ahead and swatch these side by side so we can start comparing them. First of all, my butter bronzer doesn't really have much of a scent anymore because I've had this for so long, but I think we all know what the butter bronzer smells like. It's very tropical. It's got kind of a coconutty scent. Now, even after being open for so long, this still feels just as silky as the first day I got it. There we go. So first of all, and especially because this is a fresh, compact, newly opened, this is very fragrant, but it is not the same butter fragrance that I'm used to. This is definitely more on the floral side. It's kind of like floral and beachy, not as sweet as the original butter products. Ooh, okay, so this is feeling just as silky, maybe even a little bit creamier than the original butter bronzer, and that could be that extra butter in the formula. So here's Sunkissed. Ooh, yeah. No way that's gonna really work for my skin tone. Maybe to just warm up the face a little bit, but even still, like, it kind of looks like an apricot blush on my skin tone. Now, looking at the finishes side by side, I can see what they're saying. It is definitely more matte. It has that flatter appearance, but it doesn't look dull or dusty at all. It looks very, very smooth, and it has less of a slight reflection than the original. Like, I can understand in the grand scheme of things, maybe they didn't have the resources to make more than 2 shades in this new bronzer, but even if that was the limit, why not make something at least for light medium skin and then medium deep skin at the bare minimum? Well, it turns out that there is actually a third shade of the Matte Monoi bronzer available, and that is what we're gonna look at right now because this is not gonna work for me. Enter the All-Star palette from Physicians Formula, another new launch. It's available for about $15 at Walmart, and this has a limited edition of this new Matte Monoi bronzer in the shade called Matte Tan Bronzer. And this we might be able to do something with. But you can only get this shade in the palette. It is not sold as an individual compact. I'll swatch it right above the deep bronzer. And yeah, we can definitely do something with that. I mean, it's still warmer than the deep bronzer, a little bit lighter, but not by much. Like, we can definitely make that work. All right, now that we've found a shade that actually might work for my medium skin, let's go ahead and put it on. I'm just gonna start up here. I'm gonna start bringing it down. Ooh, this palette is quite fragrant as well. Yeah, it's looking pretty warm. Okay. Definitely more orange than I would typically want to use as a bronzer contour shade, but it's what we have, so it's what we're gonna use. And certainly a better pick than Sunkissed would have been. I am sort of noticing that this is going on slightly more even than the original Butter Bronzer does, not gonna lie. And I think the matte finish helps with that for sure. So I'm not gonna go too heavy because it's so warm. I mean, it's doing an okay job contouring. Like, it's just enough where I can sort of add some cheekbone definition here, but it's not a lot. Ugh, if it was just a scent darker, just a scent. I mean, I will say, I guess it's giving more of a just subtle natural look. And the thing is that the brand seemed to be taking that criticism, because this is something that people have gotten on Physicians for years. And then finally comes the Healthy Foundation, like what, 4 or 5 years ago, and they did a great job with that. They really said, okay, we hear you. Here is a huge shade range for them. And all of their foundation launches since then have been rather inclusive, like on a drugstore level. So then when they do this, it's like, hey, what happened? We're still here. And quite some time after the original Butter Bronzer launch, they did go back and expand that shade range as well. That has 8 shades now, especially because it's arguably their most popular product. And you know, this issue extends far outside of Physicians. Like, drugstore bronzers aren't really all that available for deeper skin tones. One brand that I see actually trying is Makeup Revolution. I can't say how well they actually work for deep skin, but a lot of their bronzer options do go down to like actually deep. So it's like, it can be done. Why aren't you doing it? Okay, well, it's pretty. I think that I actually really like this matte finish. It does look a little bit more smooth and one with my skin. I feel like it was really easy to blend. It's just like, can you see it? Or I'll add a little bit more and just see what happens. But like, from what I see, this formula has potential. We got a little bit more, but this is where I need to cap it because I can see that it's bringing out more of those warm undertones the more that I build it up. So that's where we're at. While we're in this palette, I guess I'll just go ahead and finish the rest of my face because I didn't have any blush or highlight on. So just as a quick overview, this All-Star palette is sort of an all-in-one for all of their most popular face makeup products. So we've got the Rosé All Day blush, their Happy Booster Glow and Mood Boosting blush, the powder palette multicolored pressed powder, and their Mineral Glow Pearls. So I'll use their Petal Glow blush. You know what? Because this palette has the different formulas that Physicians formula makes, not only is there the Rosé blush, then the new Matte Monoi bronzer, and then there's the original Muru Muru Butter Bronzer in here as well. There's at least 3 fragrances in this palette competing. It's a lot. But I mean, this blush though, I don't even need to highlight after this blush. It did it for me. It's adding that highlight and a really pretty flush of color. I like Physicians. I'm a big fan of Physicians. I've worked with Physicians a lot of times and they're one of my favorite brands to work with. But like, I need to call things out as I see them. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot pretend that this is okay. Oh, ugh, ew, what? Okay, so this Mineral Glow Pearls was covered in overspray. You can see the real shade of the highlighter, like right here in this section, it's like beige-ish. So I dip my fan brush in it, and now the silver spray over glitter that was on it is in every other pan in this palette. Wow, that is really annoying. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna add a little bit more blush for the glow. Yeah, that's definitely enough highlight. So here's the finished look, and I do think that it looks really pretty. It's obviously on the warmer side and definitely on the more subtle side. I really like how it looks on my forehead. I was able to go a little bit more heavy-handed there because the warmth didn't look as weird as it would have in the hollows of my cheeks. It's so smooth. It is completely even. Like, it looks good. But my main gripe is that they obviously had the deeper shade readily available for this palette. Why not give this as an option for the individual launch instead of two like more pale skin appropriate shades that you can buy separately? Because especially with this thing going on, like, this is not a palette that I would have necessarily recommended as like a must-have, although this blush, but this is not even a limited edition shade. Like, I'm definitely going out and just buying this blush on its own because, like, hello. It's kind of annoying that if you have my skin or deeper and you want to try this bronzer, this is your option. I think this blush ended up being the star of this video, and that is not even what we were reviewing today. So here's the review that I can give you. From what I can see on my face, this is a really nice bronzer formula, super smooth. The matte finish is flat enough to really blend in with makeup, but it's not dull or dry looking. Very foolproof to blend. But all I can say is I hope they expand this line just like they did with the original. If you're lighter than me and you like warm bronzers, go for it. This is a great product. If you have my skin tone or deeper and you do not feel that these shades would work for you, tweet the brand. Let them know. We want options. We want to try this new and improved formula. We want to be able to wear it. I might find myself reaching for this deepest shade in the palette, like when I'm really going for maybe a no makeup bronzy summer look, but also probably not because it's in a palette and that's annoying when I just want to use the bronzer. So what do you think of all this? Tell me in the comments below, and if you've tried this product and there's a shade that actually works for you, let us know how it is. Now, I did get a sneak peek at the rest of the butter products that are coming out this year, and there's still a lot that I'm excited for that will work for a lot of people, so I'll keep you in the loop on those. Today's shout out goes to Annette. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad, and join me over in this video next where I test the newest and possibly best drugstore tinted moisturizer. I'll see you over there. Bye!